December.
Go ahead, Kinyofu.
Hello, Facebook. Hey, out there. What you doing? Are you dropping by to check out what Wake Up Everybody is doing? Well, I'm here. You all can come in. I'm welcoming you. This topic, the other and the isms, a tale of global trauma. Getting ready to do that now. Hey, Zoom is here. Yay. Who's dropping in to see me? As y'all are setting up, what do you need? You just need to come with your open mind and ready conversation. Hi, Teresa.
Good morning, peace and blessing. Kinyofu young family.
Hi, Bree. Hi, Abimbola.
Peace and blessings, Kinyofu.
Peace and blessings. Glad you're here. All right, other people are joining. Hi, Stacy. Yes, so today's topic, the other and the isms, it's a tale of global trauma. We're going to, look at some things that have to do with trauma and how it affects us in many ways it affects us, what things we might have thought about, things we might not have thought about. So this is just an open mind, not just, but this is an open mind conversation. I'll be sharing some things and you'll be sharing some things and we'll keep going like that. Hi, Mommy. Good morning, all. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day so far. It's Tuesday, and we are at day. Hello, hi, Regina.
Hi, Kinyofu.
Hey, we are at day 463, believe it or not. Day 463, wow. And I'm excited to present today to you. So come one, come all. Looking forward to deepening this conversation on the other and the isms. Hi, Joyce. Welcome, welcome, everyone. So like I said, if you want to take notes, you can. I'm not going to stop you. Oh, yeah, you should have some water. Not should, but it'd be nice to have some water, right? So you can stay hydrated always. I have my water bottle here. Take a sip. So that was the start. Yes, it's Tuesday, November 23rd. You'll know Thanksgiving is coming up. I'm sure you'll know that. I have to remind myself of that. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So to me, it's just another day. And I'm sure I know folks out there, they go shopping and they prepare food, and this is that time. Y'all are cleaning the house and getting ready.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading. connecting, transforming, together, together.
I
Unmute
guess
yourself.
I guess I should unmute myself, right? All right. All right. So boldly standing for resilient change, I inspire generations of resilience from wombs to classrooms. That's why I'm here in this world. I look through the lens of the child to heal the adult so that we may prevent future traumas. And admin, if you could put up that first slide. Yeah, so I'm going to bring up a slide of image of children. I want you to read it. Actually, who from the audience participants can read it for me?
I'll read it. Children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a little boy, black boy raises his hand and says, alive.
Yeah, so what does that say to you? When you see this, what are you thinking?
Me? Or are you asking the rest of the
I'm
group?
asking you and whoever wants to answer. Now, who is this that's talking? That's
Regina,
Regina? Yes.
sorry.
No
Sorry,
worries.
yeah. I'm laying down, so
Okay.
but it I mean, I do think of it as just a statement. It's like, as a kid, you're like, okay, I'm in school but I am trying to survive every day. The 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 lifestyle that I live or have to live is a lot different than what my counterparts are experiencing. So it's my experience is way different than your experience, and that's my right. That's what I I have to share that. So that's how I feel.
Can you elaborate?
Well, with him being black, it's us in general, us as a community having to be in survival mode. And, yes, we can try to think about our future, but a lot of it has just been day to day. How do I get through? How do I get through each day? And so, and that's been on the basis of survival, especially, with our ancestors. But even today, we are experiencing that. And, I know me personally, and a lot of other people, a lot of other conscious people in the conscious community, we want to get out of this survival mode, because this is not how we thrive. Surviving is not thriving. And we deserve to not have to think about whether or not we are protected at the end of the day. So we must build that within our own communities and within our own homes. So yeah, that's my elaboration.
Thank you, Regina.
Mhm.
How about you, Teresa? I see your hand is up.
I had a meeting with the NYCHA people last night about our hot and heat and hot water, and I just felt like they were just passing the buck and saying, "Oh no, it wasn't this problem." And this particular contract is supposed to be finished since last year, and so now they're working. Now they're saying that the reason why we didn't have heat is because of some hot water system, but they've been knowing that it was going to be the winter, but it's just because of feeling like because we live, a majority of the people that live here are BIPOC people, and because of that, I feel like if we don't get the legislators involved in our voice and putting in complaints and putting in ticket numbers, when you're having a problem, it's not going to get fixed because we've been actually freezing off and on for like a month, since October 18th. And the heat was supposed to be on since October 15th, but they waited till yesterday to tell us that the reason why we didn't have heat. And so it's just sad that we have to live in these conditions, and people are putting complaint tickets. People are going to bed, with coats on and different stuff like that. And even having a ticket system, it still is not getting us the proper heat and hot water. And some people still haven't gotten heat and hot water properly because they just don't seem to think that it's important enough for us to get what we need. And when speaking to some of the people that was in NYCHA, they was like, oh, well, the reason why this not happens because of the money, but we know that they got the money. So what are they doing with the money that they're not making sure that we have proper heating? And it's
So
not
you
just
see,
money. Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So I'm gonna stop you so that I
Yeah.
can summarize. And I'm hearing that there's an issue of power. People have power, are withholding and causing potential health issues in communities that don't have the power. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's it.
Yes. And
Yes.
and I also heard that in Regina's share in reference to the whole day-to-day experience of surviving and knowing that that's not everybody's experience. Is a particular aspect of what we have to do as Black and Brown people. That's another level of living. And who else has a perspective, another perspective, or a deeper perspective of that image?
All right, so let's hear from Bree. If you can come off mute.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good
This
morning.
is my first. This is Gabrielle. I'm joining for the first time today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome.
My impression was twofold. I think initially it was that there was violence prevalent in his environment, and so there was a strong likelihood that he didn't see himself making it past his youth. But then another perspective on it is the idea that what do you want to be, and we're living kind of like a prescribed existence and not really living, not really thriving, but just existing. And he actually wants to have a conscious created existence. He wants to be alive, actually creating. So there's two kind of perspectives on that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the image, Jacqueline said that she didn't see the image. So the image is a teacher or an adult standing in front of children who are sitting down, and they are mixed races. So she's asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she's looking excited about the question. And one boy raises his hand and he says, alive. So I'm asking for an interpretation of that image. So yeah, there's an element of violence that, as we can imagine, this boy has experienced, and he wants to be alive because he's realizing he might not grow up. And I remember one of my good friends, I was very surprised to hear her say this, but when I was about 16, 17 years old, she said she didn't think that she would be around to experience being 25. And I was like, what do you mean? And she just didn't see it because I guess her experience was that her friends didn't make it to that age. That was not my experience. That was not my grounding or my foundation, but it's many, 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 many children's. And that other aspect, Bree, and welcome, Bree, to Wake Up Everybody. The other aspect about being alive, being creative, being, I think you were saying, in a sense, being a contributing member of society, being able to do something. Like that's That's a healthy, happy child's vision. So, chat. Teresa says, even when it comes to medical care, there's neglect and not feeling valuable. Exactly. Yeah, so today we're going to look at the legacy of trauma and treating how the legacy of trauma is threatening our very existence. So these things that we're speaking about comes from trauma. So the little boy who's like, I want to be alive, his experience of trauma has him question if he will be. And he's being very honest. And if he didn't have to say that, but he's definitely feeling it and he's definitely living it. And we live on the edge every day. If you are faced with life or death situations or the fear of tomorrow, even the fear of today, you are definitely living life on the edge, and it will change your decisions, right? It will change the way you speak to people. It will change the way you look at people. It will change what you eat. It will change who you choose to be friends. It will change what you think about learning and education and teachers and police and the government and your community and the world. No, not only that, but the experience of trauma will change what's going on in your body. It changes how you're developing. It changes how you respond to upset. Trauma is a psychological, emotional response to an event or an experience that is deeply distressing or disturbing. And trauma is different for different people. Jacqueline in the chat, she says the way they are treated by the society creates that belief in our community. I was surprised to get that from some suburban children as well. So Jacqueline, can you come off of mute and share that?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I worked in New York City for the first 12 years of my career. So I would hear that I worked in the South Bronx, right across the street from the projects. It was actually an area that my parents, my older sisters and brothers had grown up in. And I would hear that frequently, and I would have to dispel that with them all the time. And I never understood it until I understood it and then I didn't. And when I got up into the suburbs and I saw that some of the Black young men were also doing the same thing. By this time I was in middle school and high school, it gets worse. Because in elementary school, they haven't got there yet, but by third, fourth grade, they're getting that idea that they're not valuable. And I just started to pay attention and notice how they were being spoken to and addressed by administrators, teachers, what have you. And I had made a determination, because I left and went into an all-white district for about 3 years, but I made a determination that I would go back where my people, my children were, our community's children were. And I would work with them because I had to be that force that would show them that they were valuable. And I would have to address those adults that were showing them otherwise, even when they didn't realize they were doing it, or they said they didn't realize they were doing it. And I'm complete.
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being there and creating awareness. Yeah.
Let's get my hair done. Okay, we'll get off camera.
No, it's okay.
Kinyofu, I want to also bring in a voice from Facebook.
Sure.
Kaisha said kids today are not expressing that they're afraid of the community, really only expressing they're afraid of the police more.
Right. The police have a strong presence. There's a fear of the kids being in the community. It's their lifestyle. There's ways that our trauma response has us be on guard without knowing that we're on guard. So when the children walk out of their door, if there's traumatic situations happening, if they know that their life can be taken, if they know that somebody could possibly jump them, or that a cop can grab them. They're just on guard. And so there's like a tough skin. They're also taught, build a tough skin. Don't let people see your pain, right? So they are experiencing this in the community, and in addition to their experience with the police. So the other and the isms. Who knows what the other? What do I mean by the other? The other. If I'm speaking about me, if my world is me and everything that I know, everything else is the other.
So I'm going to ask Sister Louise if she's available to come off mute and answer. Sister Louise, can you speak?
Hi, morning. Oh, I'm driving.
Morning.
I missed the question.
Oh, that's okay. I can repeat it. So what do you know about the other? What is that? What do you think that means?
Okay. I was sort of in and out as I was getting dressed. So the other, in terms of, I heard Jackie share about what she experienced with the young Black men not valuing themselves. So I did. Can you please clarify on other?
Okay, so it doesn't have to be connected to anything that was said. The other is a general term, and I'll share it because it's a general term, but it's specific to a particular learning. And the other is anything that's not you. So generally it's speaking about people, the underserved people on the margin. So the other would be the others who are not on the margin, the others who are not underserved, the others who are not Black and brown,
Okay.
the others who, yeah. So
okay,
the others.
so, and you want to get my perspective on the other's perspective or just my feelings towards them?
No, I just wanted to put out the definition or the concept of the other. So
so that's what you want me to
moved
weigh
into
in.
it. Well, we moved into it. So you
Can
asked the
come back
question.
to me? I feel like I'm not really.
Yeah, I can come back to you. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
So yeah, when you're thinking about it, right? Teresa was mentioned NYCHA. So NYCHA is the other, right? In Teresa's experience. And for the young boy who's concerned about the police on the street, the police is the other. But at the same time, for the police, the boy is the other. And in NYCHA's experience, Teresa and her community in her building, they're the other. So there's a disconnect. That's the picture that I'm drawing. When you're in the comments, when you are trying to understand the concept of the other, there's a divide there. There's a disconnect. And then
Okay, can I share now or?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna say in terms of the other because I mean for me I only experienced. I'm gonna speak from my experience. I experienced racism really for the first time in college, and that's when I kind of realized at the University of Pittsburgh what the underbelly of American racism was in terms of receiving racism from teachers, from being spit on in the streets and called, nigga. And that kind of galvanized me to be able to try to figure out why is this? And then I began my path to Pan-Africanism. But in terms of the other, we've been, as far as I'm concerned, we've been taught that to look at ourselves through somebody else's perspective, us as people of African descent. So we even look at ourselves as the other because we're not looking at ourselves from within our paradigm. So I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but just the thought of looking at myself from somebody else's perspective and, just always constantly trying to shift that so that I'm not the other. So I'm completed. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Now,
Can I say something, Kinyofu? I like
yes,
what Louise said because that's the problem that I was having with the students. Seeing themselves the way other people see them, and it's a self-esteem killing thing, and it's just what do you call it? Taking in the views of the oppressor and making them your own about yourself. And that was the most disturbing thing. So I do understand exactly what Louise was speaking, and I'm complete. And I'm sorry to interrupt.
and I'm hearing, I don't remember, I kind of feel like Audre Lorde, a comment that Audre Lorde might have dropped. And it is that we don't, and I might totally be wrong here, but this feeling of us having to do that is us living life on the edge of our seat. Why should we have to look at how other people view us? For what? Like, does the other have to do that? And quite likely they don't, because they're not living life on the edge, because they're not being threatened from every direction. So that is a value conversation. It's like, well, how will I look if I do this? How will I look if I do that? What will people think of me? And if we have to live that way, then we're not fully living life as us. So that's another layer of how Black and Brown people are forced to live their life. That's not healthy for them, but it's not our fault, but it is something to acknowledge. Admin, if you could pull up the next slide, that would be wonderful. I'm going to read Teresa's comment. I'm in need of tools when the other's actions are so overwhelming that I shut down and get disconnected from the place of progress that I was on. Okay. So here's some of the isms. And these are the things that are keeping us on the edge of our seats. So we have racism, which did come up in conversation with Louise. There's colorism, which I read in something that she said when she says, or this is how I interpreted it, we see ourselves as other. So the colorism is, light skin, dark skin conversation. And that's a way that we divide ourselves. There's sexism and there's classism. Okay, so, my house is better than yours type of thing. Capitalism, that's who, with the money, having the money. Who has the money? Who doesn't have the money? Wanting more money. Colonialism, that's nations coming in and taking land and changing people. Ageism, the common theme is the younger the better. Ableism, that's being able to move. If you can move, then you're better than the person who can't move, i.e. people on canes or on wheelchairs or without limbs or something, anything that makes them less able. Sizeism, again, well, not again, but smaller the better. That's the theme here in America. Adultism, and that's a term that I picked up from an organization called Reevaluation Counseling. And adultism is the adult has the power. So in each of these things, the person that is doing the ism has a power. They have an understanding of themselves that they're more. Okay, so the adult will have the understanding that they are more, bigger, better than the child. And so they will put restrictions on the child just because. And there's terrorism, and that's creating fear, large scale. And Americanism, didn't hear this term of Americanism until I saw this next slide. Charmaine? Oh, sorry, skip to the next slide. Come back to that. There you go. Display slide. Okay. So can I get a volunteer for somebody to read this?
I'll read it.
Okay.
No, I'm not an American. I'm one of 22 million Black people who are the victims of Americanism. One of the victims of democracy, nothing but disguised hypocrisy. So I'm not standing here speaking to you as an American or a patriot or a flag saluter or a flag waver. No, not I. I'm speaking as a victim of this American system. I don't see any, and then American system. I don't see any American dream. I see an American nightmare.
Thank you, Zahura. And so there goes the Americanism. Has anyone experienced this? And what can we say about it, Zahura?
Well, the Black people, they are really the ones that fall into the traditions and the colonialism. I mean, the um, the Declaration of Black Inferiority and accept it. They have a lot of problems that we have to work on, and we do that in ourselves. And we try to do the 101 monkey potential and see if it an affect other Black people to not accept that critical race theory that they said Black people not doing anything to change their conditions. And we meet up, we have conscious conversations, we have prayer lines, we have a lot of things that exposing actually the nature of things that's going on against the Black people, us. So we're victims, but we don't try to dwell on that. We try to change the conditions that we're living in and love one another. Be kind and thoughtful and considerate and being grateful that we have come this far. Um, we got a ways to go, but this is the season where we it's just like a brainwash thing, but we get something out of it because we've been separated in so many ways that when we do come together, it's like on a survival mode, and we try to thrive, and we have we have the systemic racism tearing us down, like making us unprivileged. I was in the clubhouse yesterday, and I was taking one of my members to the direct assistant director office, and he the guy was following me. I was trying to show him how to put the activity sheet up, and the director said to him, "Don't follow her. She's a bad influence on you." And I'm like professional, and he came on me like that. So what I did, I I thought about it, and I couldn't, like it was happening so fast. We was walking and he was talking and stuff, and I didn't want to come out of my professionalism and say something negative to him. So I just kept being positive, and I told him that's all right. I said I'm a human service worker and left it like that. So they have those little belittlements to tear you down because it's a it's predominantly white institution, and there's more whites and blacks in power. And so when you try to get power, they're not gonna give you any say so, because I'm a psychiatric technician level 3, and I have trying to get my peer support recertification, and I didn't know that he seen me in such a light, you know. But we had our schizophrenic group meeting, and the guy didn't feel like, that he was right by saying that. So that made me feel better.
Right. I thank you for standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
These isms are so embedded in people, in the other, right? So that puts us on the defense, and we might not be in the position or might not feel comfortable enough to speak up. I know I've been there many times. It's embedded in the framework of European-based countries, including America, and it doesn't serve us. It's up to us to build ourselves so that we're strong, so that we don't let those things go over our heads. We want to speak up. We want to teach out and keep building ourselves, because we are like, when you know who you are, then nothing can stop you. And so we have to really keep building who we know we are from the root, so that we can manage the bigger issues. So the smaller issue is so for me, like who I am and how I interact with the people around me, right? And then there is the people around them. And now I'm getting deeper into the community, and then outwards. My strength is growing with each pushback, with each thing I learn about myself and about my people. Who are my people? No, my people are my family, my people are my culture, my people are my ancestors. The more I know about them, the more stronger that I feel about myself, and the more I can speak up and speak out and reach those people who are not on my side or trying to support me. Teresa?
What I realize more now is that dealing with the system and others and stuff that we're dealing with, is that my need to gather and to be with my tribe is more important for me now than ever, because I didn't realize just all the stuff that have taken place in my life and different things. I didn't realize how much I've been disconnected from my Blackness and understanding, like the power of us and what we could do together as a team. And so it is a fight for me constantly, even with, family members, whatever. It's to stay focused and not get caught up in the separatism, because there is a great separatism that is taking place among us. And we have to watch that, because that's the plan, is to keep us separated and not joined together. So being part of the Woo really, and being part of Be the Tree, and just being around y'all has helped me, like realize, Teresa, you need to stay focused on your tribe, stay focused with your, like focus, because it is a fight. Because like with the thing with not having the heat and being in the cold, that really affected me, because I've never had to be in cold like that to that degree. And so it gave me a whole perspective of gratefulness of, having a place to stay, because I thought about homeless people, but I didn't really thought about the coldness of how they felt until I had to be cold. And so, and if I didn't have people, I didn't, like I told them, like I said last night, I said, I can't just get up and get on the bus. So I had to stay in the cold because I didn't want to leave my neighbors, but also because I didn't have a ride at night to pick me up and take me to somebody's home to stay warm. But I wanted to stay with the people and stay here, to make sure that, we got heat, so I endured the heat, but it was not a comfortable feeling at all.
Right.
So having the tribe and the people to encourage me during this time and to check on me made a big difference in, my mental state. So I just want to tell you thank you for that. And everyone, who just sent love, encouraged me. And I'm complete.
Sure, thank you. And having that tribe is important. And lots of people in our communities don't have a tribe. But if they're in your community, you are their tribe. Lots of people, I've spoken to parents and they're like, I don't trust anybody, I don't know anybody, I'm not leaving my kid with them, I'm not going to ask them for anything. So these are single parents that are living life literally alone, or so they think, and they're not opening up their world. So when you are experiencing, like Teresa had a real life experience of not having heat, but also having an outlet, some place to go to get heat or to get food or to get shelter, right? That's not the mindset or the possibility in some people. And then we could take on that experience of, well, if they don't have it, then maybe I shouldn't have it, or I shouldn't go and enjoy it. And that's a whole nother level that I'm not even sure how to address. But I do know that we want to do what's best for us and not put ourselves in a space of sacrifice. But at the same time, we don't want to turn our back on our people. So that's just a question that just, flowed through me. And I might have opened up a can of worms there. I do see Louise's hand up, so let's hear from Louise. And then I can come
Hi,
back to
thanks.
that conversation.
Okay, thanks. As you were talking, I came back to the whole, I've heard so many, every decade you hear people saying, oh my gosh, it's such and such year. Isn't it time for racism to end? And then people get on this whole discussion on, oh, well, will racism ever end? And I say to myself, that is such an irrelevant question, because, from the time of, I would say in terms of slavery, there's been a systemic and a purposeful way to dehumanize people of African ancestry and people who are not, I would say, European looking. There's been a constant effort, and it's utilized in the media, it was utilized through science, it's utilized through so many ways. And in college, when I started to experience racism, when I went back to do the research and I got to hear Naeem Akbar speaking on Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery, and Frances Cress Welsing, and even Dr. Joy Degree talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And we sometimes waste time arguing about, will this end? They don't really have a choice but to keep it going, because they have to keep their power in some way. So they have to try to do their best to keep their foot on our neck and to keep us thinking of us through their eyes. And for me, it was just a concerted effort to make sure that I love my Africanness, to love my hair, get out of the perm, all of these things that they keep pushing on us with the idea of beauty. What is, we are criminalizing us, and they don't highlight all the beautiful things that we do in the media. And there's those of us who hype it up as well. We feed into it, because people want their 5-star hotel and all of that. And they realize, okay, in order for me to keep that, I have to go with what the system is about. And the system is truly about the illusion of white supremacy. And that's not going to end. So we have to, I think once we kind of get that in our minds and focus on working on ourselves and building up our confidence and our love for ourselves and our communities. I know for me, that's what I've done. And my children always, my daughter always had black dolls, and I got a lot of pushback. She's supposed to love everybody. She got to love herself first. So, and I just want to say lastly, I don't want to go on too long. I was reading Huey P. Newton's Revolutionary Suicide, and I did not realize that he had a doctorate. And, they talked about how the COINTELPRO and J. Edgar Hoover made a systemic, they made a purpose thing, like, we're going to get rid of the Black Panthers who were doing things in the community for Black people. And some of the social programs they had, the government picked up on it. I was like, oh, this is a good idea. We're going to do this. But it was the Black Panthers that came up with it. So there's always a systemic push to keep us in a certain type of mentality. But there's never been that type of push to get rid of the KKK or any of the white supremacist groups out there. And every decade, there seems to be like there's an uprising, like we're in a current uprising right now. And then they want to try to do certain things to dumb us down, get rid of us. And then we'll find out 10 years from now what other program was really there to try to get rid of, like Black Lives Matter and so forth. So I just hope that so many of us are able to keep it in a certain perspective, that we always are going to have to battle to break the chains of psychological slavery. I'm complete.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is, and Teresa had mentioned, this is the season for us to come together, and that's real talk. So I mentioned that Thanksgiving is coming up this week. And I also shared that I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And Kaisha, I saw it in the chat earlier. She asked why. She wanted me to share why. And this is why. Thanksgiving is based on a lie. The story we were told that Columbus and his people, they were curious about the world, and that they landed on some land and discovered it, right? And then started to build it up. That in the process, they experienced the cold weather that they couldn't manage, and that the Indians came from behind the trees to give them, to help them, give them some food. And then they survived, and then they celebrated, and there goes this table with all the foods, and now we call that Thanksgiving. That's a bold-faced lie. And I started to share, to show you all the video and to talk about, to build this conversation around that. And this morphed into something else. And the morphing really is what you want to have the conversation with when you sit down at your table for Thanksgiving, or whatever you call it, that what you do on that day. This is the conversation to have. It's the understanding about how who we were was taken away from us, and how it continues to divide us and make us feel less than. It's the understanding that we are people in trauma, and we didn't do it to ourselves. But at the same time, it's up to us to heal ourselves, right? It's also understanding how America has turned every holiday you could think of into a commercial holiday. And there's this power, this whole experience of power is fueled by capitalism. So capitalism is basically the have and, creating the have and have nots. So I have money and I'm going to buy this. The money makes me powerful. So because I have this money, because I could do this with this money, I'm going to tell you, you can't do that because you don't have money. In a nutshell, that's what that is. So I'm speaking about Thanksgiving. And then we also know there's Christmas and New Year's Eve and President's Day. Now, President's Day, how does that become a holiday for consumerism? It is, right? So we can see, we roll back and say, okay, Thanksgiving, all right, you need to buy food, all right? And not only food, but you need to buy a huge turkey and ham and I don't know, all the other foods, right? The foods that you don't eat on a regular basis, the foods that you have to pull out of your pocket to make happen, right? And then the adults also need alcohol. You can't have a gathering with adults and no alcohol. So there comes that. So somebody's getting paid. Money's coming out of our pocket. We're not getting paid. All right. Thank Christmas. Same thing. It's a repeat of that sometimes, but it's also now I have to buy gifts for everybody, especially the children, and not just the little gift that I can buy from the 5 and dime, you know, the discount store. That was okay maybe back in the day, or maybe it was okay back in the day when I could sew a dress and my child would be happy. But now the child wants the PlayStation. The child wants the, I don't even know what, right? But it's something that, the sneakers, right? A couple of $100 items. And if you get one child, you got to get the next child, and then the husband, and then the sister, and everybody needs something. So we're now money out of our pocket going somewhere. New Year's Eve, you got to buy this special dress or the tuxedo so you can go and party. And then the parties are like $100 and up if you want to go somewhere, right? Okay, President's Day, they made a holiday out of that. Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, the story goes on and on and on. And it's all built on lies. So the holidays even are not, the days that the holidays fall on is a whole nother conversation, because it's a made up, it's all made up. The power is the government being comfortable enough to change people's birthdays, to say we're going to celebrate people's birthdays on this day. It's saying we're going to celebrate the holiday on these days. We're going to change the time of the year, daylight savings time, you know, just because. And there's so many things there. So Cheryl, I see that you say there's some shares, please. Oh, that's that, Denise, I'm sorry. Go with
Yeah,
the
it's me. Two things. I want to bring in Kaisha. After Teresa shared, she was sharing that in Texas, when they experienced the freeze this year, a lot of disadvantaged families had similar experiences like Teresa. And from what she heard, they also did not ask for help because they did not want to take away from other families that may be suffering the same way. She lives in a nice community, but she noticed a difference in which neighborhoods had more resources and power than others. And this falls under classism because the population is mostly Caucasian and Hispanic. And then we had Catherine that also, when we were talking about the isms and the others, she was saying living life from someone else's point of view, this can also lead us to assimilation, the need to fit into a system that is squeezing us Black and brown people out. Like the sister stated earlier, it's a setup to cause us to become the other again. We need to become mindful. Sankofa, she has in parentheses, of the trap set and clean up our ecosystems in our communities and building our understanding and understanding of our cultural and spiritual systems that have sustained us. I'm complete.
Thank you. So to define capitalism, trade and industry controlled by private owners for profit. This leads to selfish motivation to acquire more. Capitalism, want more, I want more. There is an intention. There's an agenda of control, manipulation, and fear. The intention to instill fear in others. And this fuels all the isms. That's how I see it. Again, it creates a separation and a division. And Charmaine, if you could bring up the slide that's before the slide that you shared. This slide is going to share the traumas that the isms inspire. And we've seen these traumas in our communities. We might have experienced them for ourselves. So we see bullying, And that's not just for children. Adults bully each other. Leaders bully each other. Countries bully each other. America is a bully. There's community violence. There's complex trauma. Complex trauma is exposure to multiple traumatic events. And okay, that was my alarm. I don't know if you heard that sound, but that's my alarm to remind me to tell you all we need to leave because it's 5 minutes to 8. I want to thank you for joining in and sharing what you could. If you can, stay great. If you can't, then you can catch the replay. Thank you for joining. Come back again. And my contact information will be dropped in the chat. So thank you, admin. Early childhood trauma. Okay, that's where you've heard me speak about in the past, traumatic events that happen before the age of 6. Intimate partner violence. You're familiar with that, when a person uses physical, sexual, or psychological aggression perpetuated toward a current or past spouse. Medical trauma, Teresa referred to that in the chat, and that's trauma that occurs in a medical setting, the intimidation or the misuse of a medical procedure. That's the disconnect between the doctor and the patient. That's the denial of a patient's pain or understanding of their body. Physical abuse, you're aware of that. Refugee trauma, that's trauma related to war or persecution that may affect their mental and physical health. Sexual abuse, you're aware of. Sex trafficking, that's manipulation of victims to engage in various forms of commercial sex with paying customers. Sex trafficking is also any sex with a minor that they are in exchange for money. And terrorism and violence, you're aware of that. Mass violence is acts of terrorism, right? Or community trauma. There's also traumatic grief. That's symptoms of trauma that occur after death of a loved one. And you can imagine if you are living in an environment where there's multiple deaths. And climate grief, depression, anxiety, and mourning over climate change. So I'm gonna come back to the climate change, but I wanna say that the effects of trauma, and you can take the slide down. The effects of trauma that we see in individuals are anger, persistent feelings of sadness and despair, flashbacks, unpredictable emotions, physical symptoms such as nausea and headaches, intense feelings of guilt as if they are somehow responsible for the event, an altered sense of shame, feelings of isolation and hopelessness. So some of these things, if not all these things, you see in your family members, you see in your community. And I could dwell in this conversation, but I want to move on because I want to look at us. I want to bring out the lens to this country, right? So this country is in trauma. I don't know if you all have looked at that or considered that as a possibility. This country was actually developed under trauma. If you can think back to the truth behind Thanksgiving and how the settlers came to this land, the land was occupied. They didn't discover it. What they discovered was people living on the land. And they also discovered that they wanted that land. And they discovered that they had guns. And they discovered that the people were really kind-hearted and were not warlike. and they discovered that they could use their force to take what they wanted. The people never had a chance. This country was built on conquest, and and also erasure of a history of the people and the land and the people that were brought here. So now that the settlers conquered the people and the land here, they went to other countries, Africa, and they stole people to help build their wealth. Colonialism, capitalism. Colonialism is a control over a piece of land and its people. We've seen that. And the destruction of the land began. So the people whose land they took, the Indians, the Native Americans, the indigenous people, these indigenous people were taking care of the land. They were one with the land. The land was their relative. They acknowledged and respected the land. They shared the land. When the settlers came, they put stakes in the land. Like, you know, this is mine. You're here right now, but you're gone. Bye. You know, let's agree, let's create an agreement that I'm going to default on anyway. But you got to go, right? Whatever, you don't have to go home. What is it? What's that phrase? You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here. All right. So with them taking the land and then more land and then more land, we're now having less land to feel that freedom and that peace. So remember, this is Mother Nature. This is not just arbitrarily some land. This is Mother Nature that feeds us. We spoke about this in another workshop. The earth gives us water and air and fire and dirt. We plant in the earth that gives us food. The water feeds the food. The water allows us to bathe ourselves and to drink. The fire keeps us warm and gives energy to the technologies that we've created. And the air helps us breathe. But if we're damaging those things, which we are, we're poisoning and polluting the waterways, and we're taking resources like gold, silver, oil, coal, and gas out of the earth to make money. We are cutting down the forest to make space for whatever it is that we want. We're taking the nature away. We are eroding the soil. We are, as a result, we're changing the climate. So we're now in a situation where the earth is dying. We're slaughtering animals, and in the process of slaughtering animals, in the way that we're doing it, we're also damaging the water and the land. And the list goes on and on. So to oppress, I want to put out this definition. To oppress is to cause someone to feel distressed, anxious, or uncomfortable. And in the conversations we've had up until now, you could feel that discomfort from the symptoms I shared. And oppressed, that's being burdened by abuse or of power and authority. So to oppress is the other. To oppress is the people in power. They oppress. So people, Black and brown people, indigenous people, are oppressed because they are lacking that power. And even if you have power because you have money and you happen to be Black on brown, there's still elements of being oppressed because of the way that our society is set up. So I have a question and I'm going to play a video. I'm going to I'm not going to ask you for answers from this question, but I want you to hold the question in your head as we watch this video. And then we'll come back for conversation. So this is, we'll think about how our greed is hurting the source of our life, and Earth is the source of our life.
For millennia, we humans have been seeing the Earth as our mother. Mother Earth is the one who provides us with everything we need to sustain ourselves. And she does so unconditionally, without asking anything in return. She gives us freely all that she has with no second thought, just like any loving mother would to nurture and protect your offspring. And we, just like children dependent on their mother, take from the earth what we can to satisfy our needs. In fact, in the current, rather immature stage of our development, we take from her way more than we require, and at her expense. Mother Earth's boundless generosity has never led us to think of the sacrifices she has to make to offer us her gifts. So we keep on taking from her without end, never stopping for a moment to question the impacts of our childish behavior. If we did, we'd be shocked to tears. The damage that we've caused to our common mother is beyond measure. Deforestation, soil erosion, pollution, climate change, biodiversity loss, and the list goes on and on. The other week I read a report on the Earth's declining biodiversity, stating that about 60% of mammals, birds, fish and reptiles have been wiped out due to human activity since 1970. And just today I read a story about a whale that was recently found dead in the Philippines after swallowing over 40 kilograms of plastic bags. Mind you, this is only one of the hundreds of thousands of whales, as well as dolphins, seals, and turtles that are killed by ocean plastic pollution each year. Nearly every single day I hear such heartbreaking news. That's because we are constantly hurting our great mother. And although she is crying in pain, most of us don't hear her cries. In fact, we are so fixated on ourselves that we don't hear her at all. All we worry about is maximizing what the founding father of modern capitalism, Adam Smith, called a rational self-interest. How we can acquire more stuff, how we can increase our bank accounts, how we can convert natural resources into products. So it's not that we consciously choose to hurt the earth. On the contrary, we are mindless of our abusive behavior. But as the damage increases and expands, we slowly come to feel its consequences on our lives. We feel it in the water we drink, in the food we eat, in the air we breathe. Because of that, lately more and more of us begin to realize that what we are doing to the earth, we are indirectly doing to ourselves. For decades, environmentalists have been shouting from the rooftops about the dire importance of protecting our planet. If we don't protect it, they warn us, we are going to suffer and quite possibly die. However, despite their continuous efforts to persuade us to change the way we treat the biosphere, they failed to achieve their goal. The core focus of the environmental movement has so far been ourselves, not the earth. The indirect message it's sending to the world is, don't care about the earth because she's inherently important and deserves our love and protection. Care for her only because your survival is at threat. Here's how the cunning mind thinks. Help others, not for their own sake, but because you want them to help you back. And if they stop helping you, or you don't need their help anymore, there is no point in continuing to help them. This is like saying, care for your mother only as long as you need her. Once she reaches an old age and has nothing left to offer you, why waste your time and energy caring for her? There is absolutely no point. She'll die soon anyway. If you heard someone talking this way about his mother, you'd think that there's something terribly wrong with him or his relationship to the very person that brought him to life. But this is exactly how we think about Mother Earth. It is not surprising, therefore, that the environmental movement has failed. To succeed, it needs to take an entirely different approach, that of inspiring love towards the earth. That's because to truly care about the earth, or any living being on it, we need to connect with it through our heart. Otherwise, our care won't be sincere, and when care isn't sincere, it can't be effective. Until now, the fear of our own survival has been our prime motivation for caring about the earth. But fear isn't the great catalyst for change. To see real, lasting change, we need to start loving the earth. Then we will genuinely care for her, not because of egoistic reasons, but because we wish to see her well. When we were children, we took and took and took from our mother. But as we grew older and became adults, we began to understand that a healthy relationship can be built on the foundation of receiving alone, but on a combination of receiving and giving. Humanity is currently transitioning from childhood to adulthood. Until now, we have been constantly taking from Mother Earth without giving her nearly anything back. But as we develop and mature, we come to realize how imbalanced our relationship with her has been because of our unwillingness to reciprocate her gifts. And eventually, when we enter adulthood, we will want to give back to Mother Earth for everything she has open-handedly offered us. Then our cold, distant, and abusive relationship will transform into a love relationship based on sharing and mutual support.
Thank you, Charmaine. Can you go to the next slide? There's a quote I wanted to show you all. And I want to call on some people to tell me what you have felt about the video. So this quote, and you can add the quote to it also. The earth is not dying, it is being killed, and those who are killing it have names and addresses. Thank you, Charmaine. So can I hear from Laura? I see you off mute. Do you want to say something?
Yeah. Good morning, family. This is so touching this morning. Thank you, Kinyofu. So this really made me sad watching this morning, because what came to mind is how the lack of knowledge, selfishness, greed created the destruction of Mother Earth. First, to me, by enslaving and killing the true guardians of the earth. When I think about what they did to us as an African people, what they did to the Native Americans here, and what they're doing to people all over the world in suit of resources and power, and not knowing how they're destroying themselves, because they themselves are Mother Earth. But because of that lack of knowledge, the cold-heartedness, it's gonna destroy all of us in the event, unless we stand up, because we are the ones who have the power in our hands. And until we get to that awareness and stand up, we will go down with the oppressors. With that, I'm complete.
Yeah, wow. That is so true, so powerful. Those are really great words, Laura. Thank you. I had the image of when I was referencing Teresa and the question about saving yourself, right? Going to your friend's house because they have the heat and leaving your people behind. And should you do that? I have that image of the oppressors and how they are creating and taking and abusing, but in the back of their mind, they're also plotting where else they can go. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have created a whole nother experience on another planet or out there in space. And so they will destroy this world, but escape because they have the resources to do so. And we are the ones that's living the results of the trauma that they're putting on the earth. It's not just trauma that they're putting on us because of the things that we spoke about, but the earth going through its changes is causing us to have changes. And I have, let's make this reference and then I'll go to the hands that's raised. In 2017, the American Psychological Association issued a report on climate change's effect on mental health. The report recognized that gradual long-term changes in climate can also surface a number of different emotions, including fear, anger, feelings of powerlessness, and exhaustion in people. Mama Amal?
Yeah, watching that, I kept seeing, and even that quote, it says about we're killing Mother Earth. And I think that it would be more apropos to say that we're killing ourselves, because we cannot live without Mother Earth. We can't live without the things that and resources that that it provides, and we can't live and our comfort. The animals that exist, it's a whole circle of life. You know what I'm saying? One animal feeds on another, and then that animal may feed on insects that keep the insect population at a controlled level. We're just killing ourselves. And the thought of them creating another environment elsewhere, I think is really foolhardy, because what I see in outer space, humanity wasn't meant to live out there. So unless they develop other appendages, et cetera, et cetera. But also in listening to this whole presentation, this whole session, my mind dropped on the fact that they're saying that we're victims, and I don't believe that we are victims. I see, you know, I'm always coming from spirit, and I always say that everything is in divine order. The fact that we have suffered so brutally at the hands of our oppressor gives us what runs through our mind is moral high ground. But I guess we could say that, but God has a plan for us. It's not just us, but all brown people, yellow people, people that the white race has subjugated in some kind of way. They've not had respect for anybody except for their own race, and their aim and goal is to sustain that, because when they mix with any other race, they no longer exist as a pure white race, and so that is their fear. But now we're having a conversation of not only Black people, but brown people, people of color. We're grouping them together. Originally, they separated the different races, because if we mass together and stand up against our oppressor, who is the white man, there's strength in that number. And I'm seeing that I'm on the other, honey, the glass is half full. In other words, it's the wheels of the God grind exceedingly fine. But once it's done, it is done. And I can see that things are changing for this world. Things are changing, and I'm complete.
Thank you, Mama Mal. Jeanette?
Yeah, thank you so much, Kinyofu, for this beautiful presentation and talk this morning. When you were talking about this plan for them to like go to another planet or out in space, it's so interesting, because years back, our son, Gloria's son, he's so into like the planets and stuff. So we went to buy him a book up at the planetarium. We came out and we ended up getting interviewed about a story they were doing on people moving to Mars, right? Like this was years back. And so they were like, would you move to Mars? I'm like, no, send me a postcard. And we actually ended up making the news about how, you know, we love Earth, we want to stay here. but they already have these plans and these doggone space vacations. I don't know if people have seen this, where some millionaires are just, paying to go off into space as their vacation. Like the Caribbean was no longer enough. So with the video that you played, something that really stuck out to me was the decreasing biodiversity. And I just feel like that mirrors what's been going on for so long in terms of trying to get our people and so many people to assimilate, right? Eugenics and all of these things to try to make it like less diverse. And the fact that that's happening, that we can see that with the plants and with the animals. I just also wanted to say, I loved also how you wove in just us staying connected to our roots and to our ancestors. And one of the things that I just really try to encourage is for us to have, for our children, in cultural programs and education as much as possible. Schools like Ember, Little Maroons, New African Scouts, wherever you are, I don't know, I just feel like it's important to have our children around our people. And I've seen parents, and it's no fault of their own, just feel like sometimes our schools aren't good enough and they need to learn how to be around other people. And that's true. It's not true that our schools aren't good enough, but what I'm saying is that there's a certain richness that we get when we get to be around our culture and when we stay connected to our lineage. And the more of that, I feel like the less we're likely to fall for the okey doke and remember our power and all of this. So I just want to say that, and thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Danette. Thank you for the, thank you for the recap and the ad. I want to, it'll be like 10 minutes before the end of session, and then closing out with an activity that I'm gonna have you all do. And Teresa, your voice is can be utilized in the activity that we're gonna do. Everyone is gonna get a chance. And what I'm gonna ask Charmaine is to put up the first or the last two slides. And in this game of capitalism and racism and all the other isms, there's two sides. There's the winners and the losers. And so it was seen. There's the right and the wrong. But if it's our story, right? We get to create it. So they've created it, they've been creating it, and we've been living it, but we get to decide. This is the winner's story is who we hear in history, right? So it's our chance right now to change the story. So this is what's happening on Earth. And in the video shared that we can change what's happening on Earth, not by protesting and not by creating movements, but by creating love. And this is the legacy that we can create by having that love in our heart for us and for our people, and also for the land. What I want you to do, as Charmaine goes to the next slide, I want you to think about the time when you were a child and when you utilized, loved, and played on the land. And here's some images to remind you. Being outdoors. The children today don't necessarily know what that means because they're behind the computer. They have controls in their hands instead of twigs and whatever these kids have in their hands on the left. They're not in the dirt. Like, I love this picture right here on the right, the little trucks, I don't know if you can see it. It's like trucks and other toys playing in the dirt. And I'm imagining, yes, thank you, Charmaine. I'm imagining that they are pretending to be construction, land developers or something, but they're playing in the dirt. They're getting their hands dirty. And then on the bottom left, this boy is in the water. Like, I love that. I love the edges of the water, of the river, even the ocean. They're sitting on the rock. This is nature They're in it. And next to that, the children are jumping rope, like out there in the outdoors, just playing freely, not thinking about who's right, who's wrong, not thinking about being in power or not being in power. They're just playing, having fun, and getting the air, the fresh air that's all around them naturally. They're not thinking about any of this trauma that we've experienced or that we're putting on the earth. And these are children that want to live in the earth. They want to be alive. The fire. It's a very magical thing, fire is. I don't know if anyone had a fascination with fire, but I like looking at fire. And this campsite, like who does that anymore? But will we be able to do it if we can't go out into the air because the air is polluted? Fire needs air to live. So what I want you to do is, as you're holding this, as you are thinking about what Earth has given you, I want you to think what you can give to Earth. I want you to sit with that love that's in your heart. And I want you to write in your journal 1 or 2 sentences of love, a love sentence or 2 to the earth. Right? This will be part of a letter, a collective letter that we're going to have. It will be an affirmation or meditation, if you will. But first we'll start it out in your journal, and then I want you to type it into the chat. But come up with a sentence. Laura Clark says, "Thank you, Mother Earth." So when you have, and I'm giving you a couple of minutes to formulate the sentence in your journal and then drop in the chat. You are creating a love sentence that will be part of a love letter to the earth. It's an affirmation to the earth. Danette Bean says, "I love you, Mother Earth. You are everything to me." The earth needs to hear that we love it, love her. Just like our children need to hear that we love them. Our actions have to be different than what, our actions and our words have to be different than what was created by the other and the oppressor. There's powers that we have in our words. Our words can change things. Our intentions can change things. So create the words on paper, 1 sentence, and drop it in the chat so we can get this letter going. Thank you, Mother Earth. You are everything to me. Thank you, Mother Earth. Dear Mother Earth, will teach others how to enjoy the beauty of you. Thanks. I'm going to add mine. Mother Earth, you are beautiful. And Jacqueline says, "I love you, Mother Earth, and my children, and my children's children are being taught to respect and value you." Louise Galloway says, "Thank you, Mother Earth. I'm grateful for you and our spiritual connection." And Denise says, "Mother Earth, I will respect me by respecting you." Charmaine says, "Mother Earth, wow, you are so magical. Thank you for taking care of the world." Zakia says, "Mother Earth, you are our source. We are you and you are we. Thank you, Mother Earth. I love you as I love me, I will teach us all to love you. Thank you for these words that you all are creating. Thank you for the letter, the affirmation, the meditation that you were sending to Mother Earth. From our heart to the heart of Earth, keep the words coming. Cheryl says, Mother Earth, you are such a blessing, and I bless you back with love and respect. And Sister says, Asante Sana for nourishing and holding me, Mama Earth. Teresa says, Ashe, 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 Ashe. It is this reverence that we've created, that we're creating now, is what the indigenous people created for the earth in the beginning. Shakesha says, my family loves Mother Earth. I was taught to love Mother Earth, and I taught my children and my grandchildren. Sweetness says, I have made a conscious decision to admire you in a more loving way. I will begin to respect all that is connected to me, so I can be fit to give you and receive from you. Your kindness and supply is appreciated. I will keep you close to me from this day forward. Thank you, Louise. Thank you for joining in and sharing. Aisha says, thank you, Mother Earth. I love the freedom you give me to explore all of the resources it takes to live my life fully. This is a wonderful, wonderful letter and acknowledgement. Martine from Facebook says, the most prominent yet disregarded matriarch I recognize, honor, and thank you today, and vow to do my part in caring for you, therefore caring for myself and mankind. Shakesha says, one time I got upset when my nephew pulled a leaf from a tree. I've done that too. Yeah, the children, when I go to the schools and children just willy-nilly pull and kick and poke a tree, I'm like, no, don't do that.
Jim says, Mother Earth, I'm grateful. Oops, I just lost it. I am grateful to you for how you energetically sustain us.
Yes, thank you. Can you drop that in the chat?
I did.
Oh, okay, I missed it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Laura says, I heal from within to heal you, Mother Earth.
And Kaisha says, thank you, Mother Earth. I love the freedom you give me to explore all of the resources it takes to live my life fully.
Beautiful. I'm going to take your words and I'm going to drop it in the Facebook group. And this is the poem that we've created together. The poem, the letter, the affirmation, meditation. Charmaine says, Mother Earth, as I place my feet and commune with you with every step I take, I thank you, Mother Earth. I thank you for being you and not like man. Teresa says, was feeling so many emotions this morning, but this gave me so deep healing. Thanks, Kinyofu. Sweetness, this is a necessary conversation. I'm not invited to Thanksgiving dinner without conditions. Usually they ask me not to start so deep conversations, so I understand better why others are reluctant to have me over for dinner. All right. Jacqueline says, don't give me flowers, give me a plant with flowers. I'm a fanatic about conversation and ecology. My children are following my lead. I live this. All right. So there's some other, there's letter sentences interfused with commentary. It's 8:34. I can give another minute and we'll try to stick to the poem. Okay, Mama Amal says, I live No, Mama. And live allows the gift you provide for the everyday. Can I have some clarification on that?
I'm coming. Well, oh, I'm on. I didn't realize my mic was unmuted. I was trying to type. I'm on my telephone. I was trying to type it, and then all of a sudden it disappeared because I hadn't finished. But yes, I love Mother Earth for all the things that she provides. I love flowers. My patio is full of flowers. I love old majestic trees. Oh my God, I just love to hug them and just reflect on what they've seen in their lifespan. That was another section I was gonna type before you said Mother Mall wrote, and I'm thinking, oh my God, you mean to tell me that incomplete statement went on? Okay, but and then trying to find the Zoom, but anyway, not the Zoom, but the mute. But anyway, yeah, that's yeah, that's it.
Okay. If you could type it in its full, in its entirety, then I can capture it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you. Carrie Grace. She says to love and care yourself properly is to love the earth properly. To use the resources in a respectful way gives the earth rest and allow you, Mother Earth, to continue on. Thank you to my Mother Earth. As I unplug from what is not energetically sound, I reconnect with all that is right with the earth. Bree says, Mother, we see you and we love you. Jacqueline says, yes, Mother Earth, I embrace you in all your glory and beauty. Denise says, I love trees. I don't let people ride on the grass, and argued with my landlord when he cut down a tree in our yard. Carrie says, I have recommitted to embracing nature by nurturing plants and keeping a garden. Thank you for having me. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for this letter, this meditation, this affirmation to Earth. Earth is receiving your love. And I appreciate you giving your love to Earth, making a difference, reducing the trauma in the Earth and reducing the trauma in us. What was that? What goes around? What love goes around? What was that song? Who remembers that song from back in the day? Cheryl, I know you know.
What the world needs
Yes.
now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's. I forgot two little.
Just so love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that the world is looking for. And no, I'm not coming on camera.
That's so true. That's the song.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Spirit dropped that into my head just now. I didn't know the words. Thank you for singing it. Oh, thank you. This is so perfect. Thank you. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Kinyofu. That was so beautiful. And I'm going to bring up our closing slides as you just take a moment to breathe.
Okay, so I'm inviting all parents to the Parents Holiday De-Stressing Clinic. It occurred to me that this is the holiday is right here, right upon us. And I remember how stressful the holidays were for me as a parent, but not so much as it could have been because I didn't practice the holidays that others practice. And just this conversation that I shared today, you all can see where the stress comes from, the stress as it relates to the trauma of not having the money, needing the money to go buy the things, to do the things, and the children being home from school and you needing to work or at work and trying to figure out what to do with them. And it's a lot that parents encounter during this time of the year. Also, it's family gathering. So you might not have all the family members that you had at one point. And so there's missings. And so all these things lay in on a parent's experience. And I'm offering an opportunity for us to dialogue and to be with each other. So if you're interested, this is free to anybody who's interested as a parent, that's still interacting with your children, or just if you're a parent, email me, kinyofu@gmail.com, and we will set a date and make it happen. Here's my contact information. My phone is there. You can reach me on Facebook. I have Facebook. Kinyofu is my personal page, and Teaching for Resilience is my business page. I'm on Instagram at Kinyofu. I'm also on TikTok as Kinyofu also. And my email I shared with you before, kinyofu@gmail.com. My website is choosetoevolve.com. And so it was my joy to create this. I definitely know that this was spirit-led. It was, I had so much information and I kept scaling it down, carving it, to be just so. And it flowed. I was really impressed by how easily it all came together. This is one of my passions, is to have us understand about the holidays, to have us understand about where we sit regarding trauma. So this is one of the ways that I am living my purpose. I mentioned why I'm here before, boldly standing for resilient change, inspiring generations of resilience from wombs to classrooms. And I'm able to do that, and you're listening to me, and I appreciate that. So with whatever it is that you received from this workshop today, feel free to give back. You can go to Zelle, QuickPay, SOW Leadership Development @gmail.com. Go to Cash App, $ Spirit of a Woman, or you can click the link to the Cash App that's dropped in the chat. Please put the code 463KM, that's me, and I will forever be grateful to you, as I already am. Thank you. And tomorrow is my son. You're going to be here to see my son, Mtambuzi Mlimwengu. That's him. And his topic is Panu Movement. That's the name of his business. So please come and see and support my son. And after that is Shawnee. And Shawnee, you all know Shawnee. She's continuing her presentation from yesterday. The topic is Being a Living Legacy, a 2-part series. So this is part 2, which is on Thursday. Come back, come back, come back, come back. This is a great week. Legacy conversations.
All right. Thank you so much, Kinyofu. Thank you so much. All right. Welcome, 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 welcome to those who are joining us for the first time. If it's your first day, your first week, your first month, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, like our leader always says, don't hit it and quit it. Stay with us as we ascend, elevate, and we transform together the Wu Nation. And here's our schedule. So we are on Zoom. We have Zoom live workshops, and those are hosted on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And on Monday and Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. We are also streaming live on Facebook. And in the morning, if you notice, you're getting these alerts. So if you want to continue getting them, or if you don't get it, please text the number that you see at the bottom here, 74121, so that you can get your daily morning text messages when we are streaming live. Have you ordered your Woo swag? Order your Woo swag. It's nice and chilly, so we know we can definitely wrap up on those sweaters. So we have a variety of colors, so get your sweaters. You know, you always have to hydrate the body, get yourself some water. I encourage you to put some fruit in it if you don't like water like myself, make it tasty, but just a bottle alone, wake up everybody. As you drink, you'll be waking up all the cells in your body as well. We got our beautiful mask. We know this is an era that we're wearing masks. Another way to spread the word, wake up everybody. And our cup to drink our warm beverages, and our lovely t-shirts we can buy from now and actually give them as gifts for the holidays. For those, you know, who don't know about Wake Up Everybody. So buy one of these beautiful paraphernalia as a gift and introduce folks to our community as well. And this is how you stay in touch with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You can register on bit.ly /Wake Up Movement. We are also on Facebook. We have a public and a private page. Private page is bit.ly /Wake Up Everybody WE community. And the public page is bit.ly /Woo Nation. We're also on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. We're YouTubing bit.ly /Wake Up Everybody on YouTube. And we also have our email, info wakeupseries@gmail.com. You can email us there if you have any suggestions in terms of what you would like for us to facilitate or to present on. Anything that you can add. And we're also looking for, you know, that extra help with admins and stuff. So you can always use the email and utilize it and let us know what your thoughts are, what questions you have, and we will get to you as soon as we can. All right. So that brings us to the end of such a wonderful session. Thank you so much, Coach Kinyofu, for bringing this juicy topic to us that will really have us sitting down at the dinner table right now, not waiting until Thursday, but just to think about what are we really thankful for in terms of Thanksgiving and understanding the history. And so I'm going to invite everyone to unmute and shower our beloved as we do Woo Nation style.
Thank you,
Asante
Kinyofu.
Sada. Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Kinyofu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings.
So
This was
much.
wonderful. Thank you.
As always, you bring the love. Bring the love.
You bring the learning. I appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for this space.
Thank you so much. And you enjoy the rest of your
Thank
day.
you.
Planet
This is
Earth,
awesome.
your
So
resilience,
glad I was here today.
your
This is
information,
awesome.
bringing us together. This
Mother on Mother Earth.
powerful topic. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Is love, sweet love, it's the only thing. Yes, it's just
We're gonna get us shut down.
yeah, we are.
Teresa, we're gonna get us shut down. Facebook doesn't like that.
Okay, I cut it off. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that little part. Okay, have a good day. Mwah.
Bye. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Camille, for a Woo Nation.
Powerful.
Powerful.
Thank you.
Denise.
Hi, Charmaine. So glad to see you, baby.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I love you all, but I haven't seen Charmaine in a long time, so I was glad to see her. Anyone else ever been here? It's beautiful to see y'all. I love y'all. Mwah.
Thank you.
Where did Denise go?
I don't know. Maybe I should sing us off. What the world needs now is love, Sweet love, it's the only thing that is just too little of what the world needs now. Did Denise just leave us and did not? She sure did. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I hope I can end it.